They just can't stay out of Asia. Team America is looking to invade. Oh, God, I can't believe I introduced like that. One and all, welcome back to the Age of Empires for Action. Season 9 just kicked off, and what a way to kick this off. We have got Team America going up against Team Vietnam. That's right, the Asian dominance in team games that we've been seeing over the last few weeks cannot be stood by, cannot be allowed. The Canadians and the Americans have come together to try and slay the beasts. We've got Mr. Munch, Jigglypuff, Puppy Paw, and Wham going up against a stacked Vietnamese lineup. At the front, we've got Vuvo Van. Next to him is going to be Vua Ao Lang, which I believe is me and Micah's account. You guys might know him from this or StarCraft. Then you've got Kyo, and finally, at the back is going to be Lumber. Yeah, so I was theory crafting the formation at the beginning of the game, and I don't know if this was what they wanted. I personally think you should be able to select location in team games. I think it's a really big oversight of the devs that you can't. Because there is an elegant strategy to be had here. They went double French cav civs. You don't want the French player at the front. You want the French player at the back. You can maybe tolerate Jeanne at the front because then she's close to the action. But French at the front is a big question mark. You then want preferably like the Mongol player where the French player is or just behind. And then HRE is luckily not too bad, but usually better further forward. On the other side, it looks like they hit the jackpot. Team America has Mr. Munch at the front. The English player is going to be the hardest to dent, but he's the easiest to reach. That's horrible for the enemy team. The Byzantine player behind is also exactly what we called for as the ideal and elegant setup here, because the Byzantine player and the English player can play double Lombo plus spears to hold the front line, and then the two Canadians at the back are a double cav comp. You've got Wham on the Japanese, that of course like spamming Mount Samurai, and also, by the way, counter-French hard. And then you've got the hella busted Civ here. Abbasids in team games that will be rushing into the Eco Wing, into multi-TC, and then into a multitude of Camel Archers. You know what we're missing here, guys? You know what would make this even better? I know what we need to do. You guys are Gambaholics, right? We need to get you your Gambas. America, Vietnam. 2 minutes. Appease your sinful needs. English has to go castle ASAP. He will die. You don't think he plays Lombos, Spears, and gets support by Spears? He's front player, right? I guess you could try to condense and go castle. You can't be greedy about it, though, right? You can't go like 2 DC here. That would be the stupidest thing. Like that would just kill you with players this close. And yeah, so Baltoon, the interesting thing, we were highlighting the burger play, and it is, by the way, going to be that due to mine work. I think they didn't get the ideal setup. Vietnam wanted Kyo here, and I think they wanted Mio Micah here. Because then they have a perfect timing before. Their timing's kind of awkwardly staggered here. But you are correct, and like the issue he's going to have here is that these two players aren't going to support. I do think, in theory, when you play it on paper, in your brain, what Puppy Paw and Wham have picked sounds really good. But in reality, what you actually get is nothing. You get a huge nothing ball, because now if Mr. Munch has to rush Castle Age, you've got 3 players rushing Castle against an enemy team that should be triple feudal, 1 Castle. That's scary. Guys, you're seeing it correctly. Kyo's going for the optimal timing here. That is a 1 villager tech up so that he's almost immediately ready to go castle the moment he hits feudal. Dude, this is scary. Now, do you still go Lombos here if you're Jigglypuff as a support player? I think you kind of have to. This is going to be tough, though. He really needs to get Limitane fast because it's not just the English player on the line here. It's now going to be him or these berries. Good news, at least, of course, is with the way Gorge spawns, the gold veins spawn between players, so they should be harder to reach. And also, Mr. Munch lucked out here. Check this. The gold spawned closer to him than it did to Jigglypuff. That's important because if it had been the other way around, you can see by the TC indicator, this gold would not have been protected by the town center. This way, it very much is for Mr. Munch. So he's got to be wiping his brow, wiping the sweat off from that one, because that was kind of fortunate. I don't think... I'd actually, maybe... Is that guaranteed? I know Baltoon plays a lot more team games than I usually watch. Baltz, is that now guaranteed that you always get the gold spawns closer to player 1 and player 3? So 1 and 3? Because it looks like it might be... No. Yeah, I think that's what it does. I mean, that's still lucky in terms of the spawning, right? Like, if Byzantine player had been here instead, I don't know if this would have been better for English. So, Age-Up's coming through. And Burgrave's on the way. Pre-6 minutes, the Castle Age build-up begins. By 6.5, I think the 6 villagers probably going to be about 6 and 45. He should be in Castle. Dude, this is scary. I think you have to go Keshix. And yes, Mr. Munch and Jigglypuff might stand a chance here. Jigglypuff understands, right? Like, I wondered about Keshix here. It makes sense against double Knight Civs. You kind of have no other option. The problem in this game is, though, what Mr. Munch is doing. Like, he feels like he needs to build something. Instead of building spears, he's building lombos. Meanwhile, the TC spam. Puppy Paw. Abbasid players, they only ever want one thing. Are you kidding me on that spawn, though? The bros just sync up for it as well. Like, yep, let's push this in together, buddy. You're playing Japan. You haven't got anything to do for at least another minute. Okay, this is cool, though. I like the Keshik idea. It's very smart. Because if you build Lombos, you get Dove. You build Javelins, you get Dove, right? Like, if you build Lombos, you're countered by the same things that your teammate are. If you build Javelins, like, why? Look at the lineup. This is potentially free Cav comp, right? Like, Mongols could be going Cav as well. Weirdly enough, they're not. They're actually looking to go archery range here. Actually, I think me and Monk is playing a greed game instead. He'll provide the Deer Stone, but obviously that doesn't work for allies. He's not going Magadai. Okay, he's actually adding in the archers now. That's a lot of pastures early, though. All right, one's if you think that the Americans are going to win this, two's if you think the Vietnamese. Because I think Team America has a really hard hold ahead of them. Mr. Munch, he hasn't rushed that Castle Age, right? So he just built the Lombos that are quickly going to become less effective here. Imagine Vuvavan and Lumber are likely going to be going for a quick Blacksmith play soon. And yep, Undermesh already being prepped. Blacksmith also now being dropped by Vuvavan, so a similar timing on the look at that Undermesh. And also the timing is going to line up really nicely for this initial wave of men-at-arms arriving. So now the play is Kyo's going to wait until he's got probably about 20 men-at-arms, and then they flood. Because, like, what do you do on the other side with that time? Apparently, you build the meme. Jigglypuff is like, Soldier tried to make this work in competitive at the start of the year. He ain't here anymore. I carry the torch. We've got the meme landmark on the way. Oh, wait. Hold on a sec. Guys, do they have a substitute? And is it allowed for you to kick your teammate before game 2 starts? Because we might be seeing that here. I mean, this landmark did get buffed about, what, 3 patches ago? They increased the replenishment rate, right? And increased the maximum flask. They decreased the impact of 1 flask, but you get them more frequently. It's like, in theory, it's good. But remember what we said about in theories, like with red and orange's picks here. The Canadians' picks, in theory, are really good. In practice, they're probably too late. Wait, this meme is it's not a meme. This landmark is what beat Core in 1v1s and Beastie in team games. You make it sound like Core never loses 1v1s. Now, if you check this channel last week, you believe that. But if you check this channel this year, we have evidence that it's possible for him to lose. But Beastie, I don't know about Beastie. I haven't seen that team game. So I can't comment on that one. In teammates, in theory, when you can stick 1 unit, it makes sense, right? Like, if you're just kata, and you're up against mass knights, plus you've got the camo debuff, I think this could work, but I don't, without discrediting what Jigglypuff's going to do, I don't want to put all the credit there. I think a big part of the credit goes here. This is why I like Abbasid so much. That's why I said they're ban-worthy. What you get in terms of the unease is insane in this matchup. Because half of the enemy army is going to be countered by camel unease. The question is, what's going to counter these men-at-arms? Because here's the thing, you built Cataphracts, but if Heavy Maces is on the way, you actually don't have a counter to that, right? The Cataphracts will just get annihilated, even with their chunky health balls. It's kind of like diving into spears, you just die. Okay, she's not going to front line. I'm a little bit surprised that Kyo actually went for the 2-handed over the Heavy Maces. Mr. Munch is going to stand his ground in his choke points. Minimizes the spread here. Keshix with the assist coming in from Jigglypuff, and those are vetted up already. Cataphracts also chunky as a front line. They need to get some assistance, though. Right now, the Canadians have not entered the party. And Jeanne is also farming this up. Lumber, notice that he's up against mass archers, but Mr. Munch, he never got the snipe out. Yeah, so Jeanne is just farming XP. Look at the pace of this. Usually this is very difficult to do with Jeanne up against English. He's going to get sniped out in the end by the town center, but the damage isn't already done here. The dive continues. Mr. Munch has been picked apart. He has no standing military. Puppy Paw only has 9. Collectively as a team, they have a third of what the Vietnamese have. Yeah, no, this is looking as doomed as the last time the Americans tried to attack the Vietnamese. I don't see them holding on here. The men-at-arms flood in particular scares me. They have at least got Onimusha coming through, but I love the fact that Mia Maker played into archers. This is the make or break element. You've now got Puppy Paw trying to add in archers, but realistically what they needed is time and camel archers, or a tech up into camel riders. I would argue camel riders would have been the most go-to obvious choice here, but I think Puppy Paw might be lacking the food, but also lacking the time to get that composition online. See, baited you guys for a sec. Oh my god. I need to stop clicking that button. It's in such an obnoxious position. So Mr. Munch is dead, and now we talk about the 3v4. In fairness, it is triple castle age, so mathematically the numbers equate the same. If you take the collective age of both teams, in terms of tech, they are the same. I don't think that's how Age of Empires 4 works, though. To find out. Actually, might be about to be mathematically worse. Jigglypuff is also now in trouble. Heavy harassment on him. TC Garrison, the rest of his eco had to migrate away, but the Knights are rippling over. They're starting to arrive in the base. The Wallol forces a delay. But it starts to feel like they're running out of safe room here. Vuvan is going to have to shuffle off because of the Onimusha. Now, the Canadians are untouched, guys. You could argue that America was simply the welcome rug for the Canadian powerhouse. But we've seen the Vietnamese are fantastic at syncing up in these team games, right? So if your plan was to always be in essentially either a 3v4 or a 2v4, no matter how good of a player you are, there are limitations to what you can do. And you have to remember, these players in the Vietnamese squad aren't pushovers. Mia Maker has been in top 100 multiple times. Vuvavan, Lumber, both been, I believe, top 200 in 1v1s. Kyo has been in the top 80 on multiple seasons from what I can recall. And we've seen how capable they are then when you see them in a team environment where these names can easily always be seen in the top 100. Pressure's on for Puppy Paw. I mean, he has at least got the benefit of composite bows, right? Yeah, he just hasn't got it yet. How interesting. At 24 archers, I think that does start to pay off as a tech choice, right? It's a 33% increase for the cost of about, what was it, 5 archers? 6. It's on the way now. Behind this, though, tech up is also on the way for the Vietnamese. Vuvavan looking to reach into H3. Archer count's still looking good. Now, keep in mind, actually, if Vuao Lang, aka the purple player, Mia Mudge, if he goes for H3, Kurotai can offset a decent amount of the value you get from the composite bows. Composite bows is still better because there's a 33% attack speed increase versus a 25% increase from damage, or 20%. But the difference is also the healing, which balances out further. So it's quite neck and neck. The logic is meant to be that the Abbasid archers still win because they shoot so hard, there's so many shots coming out, they overkill, right? So a little bit of heal doesn't make a difference. And Lumber, I don't know what to say to that. It's a big map. You lose track of these things. Flank attacks are coming in now, though, folks. And arms. Look to clash. Wham. Does get surrounded. Nice little pinch there on the Mount Samurai. God. You know what? Can I just hear that closely? Wall up something. Yeah, even when you're zoomed in, I feel like the noises in this game should be louder. Obviously, I've turned mine down a bit, but I just feel like, I don't know. The men-at-arms wallop feels good, but it's almost like it doesn't feel as meaty as it should. You know? Like, give me a noise that really makes your toes curl, guys. Like, you know, for me as a Dota player, it's when you've stacked a camp and your carry comes to, like, pick it dry, and you get that chingling of cash. Oh, I can hear it now in my brain. It's so nice. Do we have that in AoE4? I guess Ottoman players have great bombards. English with volley, maybe. Puppy Paw throwing quite the volley the way of the enemy. See, this is a 3v1 right now. He may have overextended. The men-at-arms already reached him. The Knight's full up as well. Could be big damage here. Puppy Paw, he hasn't got that many crossbows. Only 8 in this formation. Archer's also chasing as well with the Yam. It's going to be a quick gap close. So Puppy Paw now forced to 4v1. I mean, he needs some assistance fast. Wham is slowly scaling up their Onimusha. But he's busy mirroring on the flanks, right? Trying to cover their escape plans here. Trying to prevent these flank rotations out the double French players. Speaking of which, it's now double French in Castle Age. Soon to be 4 for the Vietnamese. Mr. Munch is still nothing. Sorry, mate, but it's got to be said. You've got a grand total of 14 villages. Now, it's kind of funny that I keep saying Abbasids are OP, and now that I think about it, they've lost most of the matches we watched. I still stand by what I say. They are really, really powerful in team games. I just think that typically they're being over-greeded. There's too much greed around them, or they're not being played aggressive enough in some cases, right? Like, if you have an H3 player, let him tech, and you should be building Camel Archers and playing a long feudal. Puppy Paw, dude, is he actually doing this? There's no way, right? He makes up half of the total military power of his team. Cataphracts are also here, by the way, guys, which I don't see a great counter to. There's no spears, there's no mass crossbows. So if Jigglypuff just shows up, but he's busy doing other things, what? He's trying to flank raid. Oh man, I think they need him as a front line here. Still, he has baited away a lot of the Knights, so maybe Puppy Paw can still hold on. Another kind of weird detail is we don't have a Khan Hunter, which is surprising. That extra attack range does really matter. With the Yam plus that, you could kite this Mass Archer from Puppy Paw. Yeah, a bit of a missed trick there. Oh my god. So you might, if you looked at the left side of the screen, you'd think we're watching a 3v3. If you look at the right, you think it's a 4v4. How often do you see, like, only 3 colors on this bar? Oh man, I feel so bad for Mr. Munch. He's a good player. It's just, you're the front-facing player in a full aggro lineup, right? Like, it's a 4v4 where your lineup is greed and the enemy lineup is attack. This is almost always going to happen, folks. But, you know, had Mr. Munch got himself some of those protein shakes and also some of those meal replacements, he would have been lean enough and buff enough in the muscly department to punch them back. Don't make his mistake. By today. Keep drop now coming in. Puppy Paw is doing whatever he can to re-secure Mr. Munch's base. Is it going to be enough, though? Cataphracts have now arrived. Pretty tanky. Doesn't really feel that tanky, though. With the Kurotite effect, these archers hit surprisingly hard for the 10 damage going through. We had to deal with the initial Keshix, a few of the Cataphracts as well, but once again, they're being pushed back, and once again, they're being raided as the Onimusha from Wham on the flanks is now starting to tickle away at the economy. Good reaction coming in, though. This is sick. Jones Riders, better than Horsemen, folks. They're more tanky. They have more effective HP due to the ranged armor. They admittedly don't get any bonus damage is the only downside, but they are an effective tank unit, so you can kind of frontline with these and then back it up with Horsemen. And Joan is starting to farm it up a bit, right? That level 3 being online to confirm that. I can't believe this. Guys, he's actually doing this. Puppy Paw is holding back 4 players while going Imperial Age. My jaw's about to drop, man. Archers immediately snipe out the Mango. The men-at-arms Akio don't seem to be doing it anymore. He's trying to play for Imperial Age instead. Kurotite is going to be backed up by Miyamaika, who, by the way, does not have a grand army anymore. 6 crossbows, 6 archers. Archers never feel like they're overextending either, right? There's just so many of them, the attack speed as well. This army is not big enough. Not strong enough. The Cataphracts as well, getting ready for a run-by. And they get the charge through. Nice cycle across there, baits the attention. 6 on top of him, Puppy Paw should be able to assist with this. Unfortunately, the heavy maces slapping a bit too hard. For Cataphracts, this is like diving into a line of spearmen. However, Mounted Samurai are now here. Wham! Making it now into a 3v4. Still, because Mr. Munch, bless him, has not built that TC back. He's trying. He's almost back in the game. The game might actually be over before he gets back into the action, though. Oh my god. What a game. Mr. Munch has been slung some food, so we might be seeing him go castle. Probably going to be the King's Pass to recover. He's already got a keep here to assist him. So we will see a TC float just in case they need him down the line. Because realistically, if you're not able to end this game quick enough, the population of the Vietnamese squad will blow beyond 600. And when it does that, that's when you need Mr. Munch to appear. For now, though, population blowing feels difficult. Man. All right, guys. Archers may be a big problem now. No bueno. I mean, mangoes don't really count them anymore. Especially Abbasid. Okay, no, guys, this is actually really important to highlight. Abbasid archers in particular are kind of busted. Because they're a better attack speed, they're very good at efficiently dispatching mangoes, even if they dive into them. Because think about it, like, they attack so quickly that not many shots are going to come out from the mangoes, and the mangoes have less splash now. Oy, oy, oy. Splash of blood on the Byzantine cavalry here. Nice grab. Blocks the horseman from retreating. This is sick. White tower for some reason on the way. Pink doesn't actually want to play for the eco boom. He wants to get present and able on the action. Oh my god. This is only game one. I don't know how you exceed this. I'm trying to think where it all went wrong for Team Vietnam. Maybe they just didn't have the double down. It felt like they were a little bit too committed to the central dive instead of the flanks, and then didn't seem to react accordingly when the Onimusha came out. I mean, we've been saying Japanese Onimusha feel ridiculous in team games. Maybe that's just a tribute to them. But yeah, tributes now do be played in blood. Elite archer upgrades are in. I wouldn't be surprised if we're rushing in snare arrows here. Economy, man. He almost has more villagers than free players on the enemy team. He might soon as well if they keep finding targets on these flanks. Things have suddenly slowed down a surprising amount. I think the issue for Puppy Paw is the dive is getting a bit too deep. So he's diving into enemy replenishment, and also his replenishment is further away, right? Which leads to worse trades over time. You know, it's kind of a classic when we talk about team games, this whole idea of build more forward buildings, silly, right? Like, so many games we see that way, it just doesn't happen. Because it feels unnatural, right? You build out from your base where your villages are. You don't build halfway across the map. Like, that's for the proxy boys who do it at 5 minutes in. Okay, so Munch is going to basically build 20 trebuchets and go shattering projectiles. Hey, that can win a game, guys. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently shattering projectiles is pretty good now. Jigglypuff. Oh, bloody hell, I'm impressed. This guy's base was decimated, but now he's on the way to age 4. Bad news for the Vietnamese. I don't think they were expecting this entrenchment here. So White Tower. Is it going to be able to push this away? The archers are struggling now because they leap men-at-arms. They only take 1 damage. Oh no, Puppy Paw. He didn't get ensnare arrows, and he also didn't get the +3. So the extra ranged armor layer proving effective in Q. He doesn't even have elite army tactics yet. Some assistance is needed. Camel Riders now starting to arrive. Pretty good against the Knights, and also chunky enough to just frontline against anything here. Crossbow Archer backline may be abandoned. I mean, this much cavalry could just chase Purple down. Walls are also up now, so these flank raids don't really come in anymore. Everything is going to be funneled down the center where the White Tower is. Puppy Paw prepping another keep. Mass Mount Samurai, Mass Onimusha. Should be able to shove this back. The Kurotai, I've done it again, sorry guys. The Kurotai, definitely a nuisance in this position. Is it going to be good enough though? That damage is... Oh my god. What? That's wild. He's getting +4, right? Yeah, +4 from that. He still doesn't have elite army tactics. If Kyo just gets EAT, this is an easy win. Veteran Archers diving in. They need to buy some time. The Cataphracts are now here. Now, they could dive onto the back line. There's not many crossbows in there, but you need to peel the men-at-arms first. Instead, he goes to the easiest dive through. Just piles on top of the first wave of MAA. White Tower is about to flop dead. The keep drop coming from Puppy is going to be a big doubt failure here. Unable to get it up. This is getting so messy. Jeanne also getting close to level 4. The Vietnamese may have just found a new breath of life. And her name is Jeanne D'Arc. Activate it. One button's all it takes. He just needs to get them in position for the fight. The Valorous inspiration of an army this big would melt the entire American defense force. The castle now being torched down. Are you kidding me with this game one? The comeback into a comeback. Mangoes also getting juiced up on the attack speed there with the Valorous inspiration. They're starting to shake. They're starting to fold. And I'm not sure they'll be able to hold here. Kurultai unable to unpack. They can't afford to give over any more ground. Check the farmlands. Jigglypuff is going mass cataphract. He needs this. He can't go without it. And they are just one screen away from denying him it. I think the only thing keeping them alive truly is the Canadians with the mass ranged element here. In these choke points, ranged is better for defense, right? But still with his limitations. Incinerar is at least there now for Puppy Paw. Nice. Oh, I'm going to look to cycle charge in even deeper here. The Cataphracts going to find themselves truly outmatched up against the veteran Royal Knights. Yes, you heard that correctly from Nage behind. These boys should be able to fight, but weirdly enough, hesitation setting in there. Lumber decides to back away instead. Just wants to reinforce on the west side, right? Commit with the army. Commit with the team. Nice, I wonder, do they just go for the back line now? It's always dicey when you're against the Abbasid, right? Targeting eco doesn't always work as well as you'd think because they just have so much of it, right? It's not like your typical game at this stage where if you just find a big hit into like a Jigglypuff, oh no, 20 villages gone, that's substantial, I can't replace that quickly. Puppy Paw could lose 50 villages and have them back in 4 minutes. That's the Abbasid power, right? Free TC in this game, but could always have been more. Canadians are starting to hold. I shouldn't say the Canadians, the Americans as well. They seem to have staved off the push. Now, this is what we highlighted before. It's the whole idea of production position, right? Like, it takes a long time now for their troops to get here. Similar to the issue that Puppy Paw ran into the other way. Farms are semi-shut down, though, for Jigglypuff. You saw him slung the food recently. You're seeing the effect it's having. He only has 4 military units in the field and 5 more queued up. Yeah, at this stage, you've basically got 2 players not contributing. This is now a 2v4. Trade also being set up behind this, so they will have the longevity. That's already been done on the other side. So Jigglypuff, that's where he was getting the good stuff. I mean, this is smart. For the Cataphract comp with Keshiks, it makes a lot of sense to go traders. Right, olive oil to get more Keshiks, and then you've got the gold that you need for Caddis. And then you get extra olive oil here. So it gives you this really cool balance of resources to allow you to kind of more or less 50-50-ish Cataphract and Keshik production. Or I should say more like 35-65, right? Which is still really good. Also, keep in mind, Jigglypuff builds even more Cataphracts than that because he did go for this landmark. Palatine School, that if your RNG is good enough, is broken. Because remember, it's a 30% chance every spawn. Which means, technically, although the probability is low, it is theoretically possible to get 20 Cataphracts extra for free. Just think about that for a bit. I've marked this. I think I said it when Sons Ascend came out. That will happen in a pro game, and it will make someone rage quit AoE 4. And no, that's not the announcement. I've had the sun already. The announcement is coming in just under 2 hours. Castle the Crow now on the way. I wonder when Wham's going to be able to reach up. The Onimusha are going to be big here. Also, a hand cannoneer transition would be huge. A little bit tricky when you're up against Mass Knights. Arguably, Onimusha is just better. But you could have that flexibility. We've seen how powerful the hand cannoneers, the Japanese, can be due to the Yumi Bannerman giving that +5 extra damage. Puts them a tier above most hand cannoneers. In fact, in theory, if the Americans can navigate the waters here, Team America has a really strong late game from the 2 players that have been beaten up. Oh, sorry, one of the players has been beaten up. And one of them that's just been boomed at the back. Because Wham can go hand cannoneers, but the English also do that really well with the attack speed. What's going on? They need to buy some more time. Mount Samurai, we salute you. I mean, that should be enough time. I don't think you can actually burn the wall quick enough because torching walls is just dumb. I don't know why they even let us do it. It just feels like it's pointless 99% of the time. It's on the way, guys. Berkshire just got queued up. Very retracted Berkshire here as he's realized he'll never be reclaiming his main base. I mean, I don't know what could give him that idea that he'll never get his base back. Does anyone see anything on the screen that might indicate Mr. Munch is not going to be able to make it home? I think it's more about what I don't see on the screen. And that's a base. Poor guy has built up in the back, though. 4 TC right against the edge of the map. Yeah, if you look at the mini-map, these guys are building like the people we see in our Bronze League Legends series. Up against the edge, right? But it's because they want to be as far away as possible from the action. Planet pass down the way. Lumber should be teching up soon as well, so it's about to be quadruple imp on both sides. This game is not going to end. Oh my god. But you know what? This is the way I would like a game to not end. It's not ending because it's so absurdly back and forth. These are the games we dream of. They're going to slow down a little bit here. It seems they're running into a bit of a stalemate in the base of the Byzantines again. Yeah, just in case Mr. Munch didn't know he lost the TC, let's destroy it again. I always love that about aging up. Yeah, I don't think, like, Puppy Paw was like, I have enough time for a best of 3 only. I don't know if that's the case anymore, buddy. I think you might only have time for a best of 1. Because this game shows no signs of letting up. Trade has begun rather to bulk. Do I need to have another rant about trade? No, I've done enough in videos in the last few days. We're reaching that stage. The likelihood of a quick conclusion to this game is shrinking before our eyes. I mean, these fights are grand, right? And I love that we got to them, but you know what, actually, like this is perfect for the portfolio of why like trade needs to be nerfed. Because all these epic fights happened not so much because of the trade. Admittedly, like with Jigglypuff, yes, but for the most, trade wasn't online when we had these epic fights. But now that we have trade coming online, the losses aren't going to amount to much. Because you can get to a stage where you lose 40 knights, and it's kind of like Le Shrug. You build up 40 more knights by the time they reach your base, and then they lose theirs, and they have to Le Shrug and trade build up 40 knights their own, right? Or camel riders, or whatever's going to be in this situation. So it's a bit of a weird matchup when you reach this phase of the game. Walls are also in, which means it's very difficult to get these dives to do any real damage. Luckily for Team America, it's only Palisade walls. Chunky boys now with the Elite Royal Knights. Already has the Royal Bloodlines as well. Puppy Paw, I mean, the archers have served him well, but he knows he needs a bigger transition. Camel Riders are being queued up. He needs so many more. His bros on the way, though. Wham arriving with the Mass Onimusha, a handful of Mountain Samurai. Should be enough to scare him away, and you notice the bail straight away from Vuvavan. Wants no part of it, says Miyamaika. Pats him on the shoulder and goes, all you, buddy. Yeah, Miyamaika even needs to go into, okay, purple, needs to go into like probably Mangadai or Hand Cannoneers here. This is not a cost-efficient trade anymore because the cost efficiency doesn't come from the unit cost, it now comes from the population. Crossbows at this stage in the game just die way too fast. I just don't know what you're meant to do against these archers at the end of the day. I mean, the men-at-arms, right? Like, they have the elite army tactics now. But I need to remember, I think I said, my apologies, I think I said earlier about them getting more HP. Remember, they don't get that anymore. They get the melee armor, the +4. So HRE in the hyper late game, at least in team games, because there'll always be building men at arms, aren't that good. I mean, unless you're against horsemen, but let's be real, that's not your problem here. Your problem is mass ranged. So we'll be able to shove them back. Numbers are shrinking a little bit, but Mr. Munch is almost ready to enter the battle again, folks. Look at it. 123, and why does the UI keep doing that? Up to 123 now, so he can think about adding in military. Actually contributing to this game. I feel bad saying that. Mr. Munch literally contributed his entire base. He threw his body on the train track for the team so that they could thrive, right? While he was down in the coal mines, they were busy making the factories. They were busy milking their money. You know, this meta is kind of a buff to Jeanne, right? Because more people are going to build ranged, and our range reduction is still really strong, right? That's intriguing. Also, Raw Bloodlines got buffed. Yeah. I don't know if this is good enough to make Jeanne good, but it's kind of intriguing to think about, no? I love how these changes have so many implications that aren't clear at first, right? Like, I do think it's weird the Horseman kind of got pseudo-buffed. Crossbows, of course, having more relevance in the Imperial Age is going to be intriguing. Hand cannoneers being more situational is cool as well. Okay, bombard for sniping it? Dude, you just use a culverin. It's so weird watching culverin siege buildings. They could do it, but they would only do 35 damage per strike. Now remember, culverins are simply what some civs bombards look like. So this isn't Kyo memeing, this is how he sieges buildings. I'm getting a little bit tired of only seeing 2 colors from Team America in these sites. Last time I checked, the American flag is red, but it's also white and blue. Wait, is it? I'm not American, I don't need to know that. I'm not going to be tested on this. There's at least 3 colors, right? Well, finally a 3rd color comes in and it's going to be pink. Mr. Munch with the first of many men at arms. They're all on the way. Look at those armor values. And he, by the way, does not have elite army tactics yet. Not that it would matter because he's up against mass crossbows. Hey, what is it? Red, white? Is it red, white, and blue? It is, right? I can't picture it in my brain right now. Yeah, red, white, and blue. Why was I getting concerned with that? This is where I'm going to get like a chatty American like, we'll remind you of the color when we invade your island. Good luck. There's a reason England was able to exist for all these centuries. Anytime we were threatened, we ran back to our island. Who's winning this game? 1066, that's because we wanted to be just French enough that we could invade them later. It was all intentional. There's so many Onimusha, but like they have their limitations, right? Also, another big thing is we have the Khan Hunters now. That was something that was missing for most of this game from Miyamika, but that extra range really does matter. And it hasn't been fixed? Arbaletier can get 7 tower range. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, well done, no. Alright, yeah, Mongols is broken in team games. More than Abbasids for this reason alone. Like, if this got fixed, I think Abbasids is better, but this works with all ranged. Right? So if you build Arbaletier, you've got Jeanne to give the attack speed, you've got a Khan Hunter to give the +1 range. It's ludicrous. Because then if you Pavis, you get an extra +1 range. You go up to 7. What am I seeing? Jigglypuff, like a true American, has too much oil. Has to do something with it. Oh my Gideon. I think they're pushing him back. The ranged army is just better. It's crazy because like you should have the movement speed, you should have the range, right? But the attack speed And then with enough the move speed with the Onimusha, it's just eclipsing this. And it's going to take a while to get the conclusion, folks. Like, even though I say the game looks over now, it's probably going to take him another 5 or 10 minutes to actually conclude that. Which offers plenty of time for another comeback. Wait, how many comebacks are we now? So Puppy Paw came back, then the Vietnamese came back again. Now they came back again. Okay, so we are 3 comebacks in. Can we make it a 4th? Oh my god. I think this might be the most back and forth 4v4 I've ever cast. And that's saying something, because I've cast a lot of 4v4s. Now, this is the stage in the game where usually you look and go, who's building a wonder? Roll your eyes slightly. They can't. They can't because of Gorge and the way it spawns. This is a preview of how good team maps can be when they're designed for team play. When you don't just spawn everyone against the edge of the map where green and orange are. Now, admittedly, pink and orange have ended up there, but that came over time. That came at a cost. It didn't just happen because that's the way the map spawned. This is how good team games can be. Whereas most team maps are we ready to build the wonder yet, Tim? No, 5 more minutes, I've got a builder's break. Right, like that's not fun. That's not engaging. This is. Push continues. Cataphracts with a charge through, disintegrates the siege. I think they're growing. 250 to 180. And the quality is undeniable, right? The archers the Mongols are building are worse. The horsemen are terrible. The cataphracts are pop efficient. Red Palace is alive for the time being, so that's a big threat. They need to get some bombards up. Instead, they decide they want to go around. Attempted break on the wall. Govan tries to move in, but a small retinue of Mountain Samurai were held in reserve. Now, one thing that is missing here is Wham doesn't seem to have the abandonment, which is a big mistake at this stage. Your damage is already at 18, right? So it's a substantial increase having that additional buffer there. Cataphract, we've been here before. Yeah, but you can't stop him because he can just trample through. Oh. You know what? This Civ was built for those that like to ego chow. The Cataphracts are beating the Knights. We reached that point, folks. They really hit that hard, and they really have that much more HP. 378 compared to 526. And now it's time to go hunt. He's looking for that trade. He wants to slow things down on the reproduction of these armies. French players at this point are taking it in turns to hold back the wave. However, it's only working because the Cataphracts weren't here. But check this, Jigglypuff already with the second wave! Dives the back line! Archer's no longer efficiently trading. It's turning into a massacre quickly. On the backside, so many units have to chase this. And even then, it's still going to be eco loss. Cataphract charge through. He can get cheeky with this, instead he's going to engage. He could have kept running and kept cycle charging Cata when it was off cooldown. Isn't interested in that, though. This Red Palace is, weirdly enough, keeping them alive, by the way. There needs to be some siege ASAP. A lot of units are being lost to this because it's got 15 archers garrisoned inside. That was a really smart play. Those are mere Micahs, because yellow doesn't have any archers, right? So they've intentionally left 15 pop in there because then you have the medieval Gatling gun to play with. I cannot wait to build this new PC. I don't know if they're going to clean up this type of starter, but you just see how crazy it gets when everything is popped in team games. The Vietnamese actually get a little bit of room to breathe here. Their eco is bigger. Hence why the military number is smaller. I wonder if the play is still archers or camel riders. I think camel riders makes a lot of sense. You don't want to go camel archers due to the fact your opponents are building horsemen, but camel riders are very tanky, very good effective HP. The issue is then who provides the range. I think like your ideal world is Mr. Munch stops building men-at-arms and starts building longbows. gives you the max range like trade out. Hand cannoneers could work as well, but you'd only be countering like the meta arms primarily, because remember they changed the tech. Serpentine powder now gives you bonus damage versus infantry and movement speed increase. Yeah, I know. I think Mr. Munch's strategy is Season 8, and this isn't how English should be played now. It's not that he's not contributing, it's just that it feels like he could contribute more if him and Puppy Paw switched roles. Maybe I'm wrong about that, because obviously Abbasid are so good with their archers, with the attack speed. Well, in fairness, Wingard Rangers did get nerfed, but yes, the Khan Hunter would affect them, which would essentially revert the nerf. However, I believe they decreased bowstrings from 2 range to 1, right? I'd have to double check in a university. But I'm pretty sure bowstrings... Oh, sorry, no, it is still 2. Yeah, so... But they decreased the extra range on walls, which means I think you go to, is it 11 tile range? Wingard are now at... Wingard range is at 8. Khan would take you to 9. And then you get to 10 with Stonewall. So you would be at the range of a keep. But it's an improvement over the memes that we saw in the preseason, where Wingard Rangers could outrange static defenses entirely. Even HRE Relic Garrison once, I believe. I never checked, actually. Like, how many relics did he get? It doesn't really matter because he didn't go for the Regnants. 6? Okay, that's pretty good. So Kyo has plenty of gold to go with, but he also has trade being set up, I believe. Oh my god, this game's going to end with a wonder. After all that praise I gave to how this is how team games could be, it's still going to end with a wonder. I mean, it has to at this rate, right? Like, it's quicker than trying to meat grind this. Because the meat grinder just got some oil, some new oil put in on the cogs. It just got the latest lubrications. It's got a new motor installed. The meat grinder is not going to break anytime soon. Well, actually, I just said that. Where is the army? Do we have gold issues? Well, Wham has started to set up trade, but I don't think he set up that much trade, right? Okay, he's got 13 total. He should be safe. What is going on? It looks like something happened here. Is it because they went for a raid? I don't understand where their military is. They have 269. Nice, but it's not here. Where is England? Oh, no. You can't be serious. He has at least built some forward Raxes here, but the problem that I'm seeing is Mr. Munch. A lot of his production is back here, and he selected all production, so he's been queuing them up out of the furthest away production buildings, which is leading to these big gaps in their push. No! If they lose because of this, and he realizes he might not forgive himself, this is wild. I mean, I've been there. I'm that type of player, right? Like, if you're a 1v1 player, you're that type of player. You're more than, often than not, used to select all military buildings because the map isn't that big. But anyone who plays team games or plays free-for-alls frequently will tell you, you need to have a control group for these. You can't just select all military buildings or this happens. Looks like they have at least finally arrived, so things are going to be reset. Horseman spam now come from Puppy Paw. He needs it against the hand cannoneers because we have got the French building hand cannoneers. And he's got the Serpentine powder, 20% movement speed for 1.5 seconds after firing. And of course, the +8 damage versus melee infantry. So this is what I was talking about, why England shouldn't be going mid-arms, right? That this is even more justification now for Horsemen. Remember, Horsemen can counter hand cannoneers now. They're a lot better than they were in the previous patch. Wow, look, a Mango. Wow. Okay, I've flamed Mangoes enough. I was like, no, KP, you'll get them buffed. I try. I do try. Well, if you like this type of entertainment, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I mean, I don't know why you guys aren't already following it. Make sure you got those notifications turned on. The game isn't about to end. I just figured this game has got 2 more hours, so we might as well take this moment to remind you all to do that if you haven't already. It's like one of those little pop-up subscribe buttons, but I'm too lazy to add that in post-editing. Looks like they actually are going to be throwing away Purple's army. His gold reserves aren't looking that good either. The other big one to look at is Yellow. Yellow has at least got 1.5k. And he's got 45 hand cannoneers. And... What? Wham! Bam and thank you, ma'am. He snuck all the way around the back and has been spamming Mount Samurai over here. Oh my god. This could be the detail that wins it for him. The space has been spotted, but it has got cannon emplacements and has always got Mount Samurai coming out. So Lumber's going to have a fast, aggressive reaction to this. Otherwise, it will start to cost them all. However, it's always a trade-off in these type of situations. The trade-off is that Wham is no longer pushing the front side of their base. Red Palace also about to come back online. Yeah, this is especially where men-at-arms feel really bad now. It's like you die so fast to Red. It's a free hitter. It kills you in 3 hits. Cannon placements are trying to brutalize the Cav, but I think he might have brought enough numbers to this. However, the torch damage being heavily reduced means it's going to come at a pretty penny. Thanks to trade, though, you can always afford that penny. God, I'm so passive-aggressive about my trade opinions. Boys, I've got an announcement in under 2 hours. We can't be in this game forever. So, like, what is missing to break through here? I think it really is just for production. Because Mr. Munch is still producing from back here. So is Wham, actually. Like, a lot of them are guilty of this. On both sides, actually. Like, Green has at least built the full production here. That's better. I like that from Lumber. So he's prepped for hand cannoneer switch. Yellow's already there. The Mongol base, where the hell are they coming from? Does he even have many? Hold on, I've got to check the number here. Okay, he has 15 archery ranges. Am I blind? Where does he have 15 archery ranges? 2, 3. Okay, they're scattered in really weird ways. But this is like a lesson for anyone watching who plays team games and you get in these situations. Number one reason you're in these situations, you forgot to build full production. It's the number one sin I see in team games time and time again. And sorry, guys. Best of 3, not best of 5. Remember, Puppy Paw doesn't have enough time. We might end up being a best of 1. Farm's at least been cleared up. Well played. Only one left. That delay could prove expensive, but they need to force a fight now before they get rebuilt. I love the commitment to just taking out the marketplace. Doesn't care about anything else here. We have to be going Wonder. The problem is Mongols do it easier, right? Because you can just sling them the food, wood and gold. There isn't enough stone. And it doesn't look like anyone's been buying stone. So your best course of action, even though these 2 players have all the food, is to sling it to a Jigglypuff. Because Jigglypuff can, of course, build anything and get stone. Again. What's the missing pop efficient thing here? I think for Puppy Paw it's Camel Riders. It's like what counts the ranged, right? For Mr. Munch, it's definitely hand cannoneers. And I think Jigglypuff already has the correct call, being on Cataphracts. Wham could go hand cannoneers, but I'm okay with Onimusha here, just because like you get outranged by the enemy hand cannoneers. And there we go. Boom! 33 Camel Riders queued up. So this is the thing that really was missing, folks. Forgot exactly how market gives stone. The rates are pretty rough. So you pay 178 gold to get 100 stone. Although they've already inflated the numbers in the other departments as well. Catas are in. Wait, hold on a second. They haven't reacted to this. Cataphracts, they're hitting the economy, they're hitting the trade. Oh my god. They're not reacting. They're distracted right now. This might be the big hit that was missing. Remember, every time either Wham or Jigglypuff tried this play, there were Knights to mirror. Finally, there's a handful in the way, but this army isn't that scary when you consider just how many elite Cataphracts are in the back here. front line is looking ugly too. Another wave fails, another wave flops. Vuvavan down to just 20 hand cannoneers here. He's got no gold in reserve, and his trade count doesn't look impressive on the minimap. I'd guess about 15, 16. Actually, it was 15 when I clicked it. Flex that. So it looks like Team America is getting ready to flex big. They've been bodybuilding in the gym. New wave arrives. The men-at-arms from Mr. Munch. Cannon placements aren't going to last long here. And the Elephants, with 14 ranged armor, absorbing every blow coming their way. Cataphracts are still going. The party has never ceased here, folks. It's now a clear and dominant eco lead of about 70. Militarily also ahead. Trebuchet starting to siege through all the buildings here. Mr. Munch has had to take more of a supporting role, pretty much beaten to the grinder, but Trebuchet is the premium element he can add to this. I can't believe this. It's happening again. Was this a 4 for the 5th comeback? I don't even know anymore. Let's just square it up to 4 in a 4v4. 4 comebacks in one game. But this one feels decisive. He's doing it again. Jigglypuff denying the marketplaces for what should surely be the final time this game, as the military lead is now almost 100. The economy lead is about to grow. And the gains into the enemy base continue to grow with it. Trebuchet is a little bit hesitant. Horsemen are shot and sharp, so be at least one more reset here. But Jigglypuff. No, I'm going to stop that now, because he ain't putting us to sleep. He's providing the entertainment here from the back and at the front. It's the tease package has brought it all. Cataphracts now diving in onto the mass archers to keep them back. Horsemen not able to trade out efficiently enough anymore. More landmarks falling. All marketplaces have been removed. They are now idling traders. And with the capital gains they get from this, they can either invest in a house or invest in a win. Deeper than they've ever got before. They call it. GG comes out. Team America will take the first in this best of 3. And I do not know how the hell Game 2 is ever gonna match up to this epic experience.